And this film was made through Telefilm's microfilm budget.
Yep, exactly, the micro-budget program, which was in its second year at the time.
Mm-hmm. So what was that process like for you? You said that you really appreciated they were fairly hands-off during the actual process.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of an elaborate application process that we had to do, but once we were successful, it was a great opportunity to have some money to make a feature film. Now,
this film is not your typical narrative film. It's really unique, and I was mentioning to your brother earlier, kind of gives it a bit of a psychedelic feel. It's very kind of laid back. It sort of feels like you're just sort of floating.
Yeah, it definitely sort of moves at a different pace, and with the different chapters in the film, the rhythm is kind of always changing. It's a little bit more like an album or something than it is like one sort of continuous piece of cinema or music or whatever. It's sort of like a collage aesthetic, I guess.
Yeah. And you had to really, that seeped into how you made the film, because it wasn't really, here's a script, here's the shooting schedule, and a very strict structured set. It was more free-flowing, very collaborative, it sounds like. Kind of a family, kind of like grown-up camp.
Yeah, camp. I love camp. I love that sort of environment where everyone's kind of working together and sort of feeling it out. And so that was definitely the kind of energy that we tried to encourage throughout the process. I mean, we did have to have a schedule at least to start with, because certain people need to show up at certain locations and obvious logistic things like this. But the further we could get away from that, the happier I was, because that's sort of how I've made my short films, is through much more process-based methodology that has more in common with like a visual arts practice or a literary practice. And it's about a group of friends, and a lot of us who are working on the film we're friends, and we're sort of working through that. So there's definitely kind of a postmodern swirl happening there with a metatextual level, where we're living through the film as we were making it.
Like a chocolate vanilla ice cream swirl?
But maybe even more flavors than that.
So how would you describe the film? Plot-wise, what would you say it's about?
I would say it's more of a pageant than a plot. It's more sort of a series of layered memories and meditations on the past, on relationships to souvenirs, on nostalgia. It's about this group of friends who are, for better or worse, still hanging out with each other after all these years, and it's sort of about how they're still kind of in each other's orbits and often sort of lost in each other's orbits, sort of hopelessly circling one another. And so it's very much about kind of memory and the passing of time. And I think that it's more of a collage of somewhat disjointed memories and reveries than it is a singular plot. This imbricated layering of...
That's a great word. Say it again.
Imbricated.
I don't even know what that means.
It means like overlapping tiles or something, like on a, anyway.